Hi everyone, I recently had the question asking, with data sources and the data lookup control, can I use a data source in an anonymous form? Now, the answer is yes, absolutely you can. Let me explain how that actually works. So, when you have a connection is your credentials that you use to connect to, let's say, your Office 365 site. So my Office 365 site is universalforms.sharepoint.com, and that uses my credentials to get this data. So the data source, the data lookup control goes to the data source. Data source looks at what I'm requesting and then goes to the connection with the connection and gets the data through those permissions I've provided. So if in an anonymous form, there is no credentials to pass, and so the data source already has those credentials. So the way I set that up is I have my connection, I put my SharePoint Online credentials into this connection, and then I go to my data source. And when I've built my data source to that project list I had before, this one, I come in here, so I've got this project sites here, and I've put my connector, which is saying which SaaS I'm connecting to, the operation I'm doing, the connection, which has my credentials, my 365 credentials stored inside here, the URL I'm going to, and then it goes and interrogates the lists that I have access to. So that's how it works. And so what I've done is I've actually set up an example to actually prove how this can actually work. So I've got the testing data lookups with anonymous workflow, and I'll just open this up and show how I've configured it. So I've got the start event form here. I'll go to design form. Now there's no configuration required if it's authenticated or anonymous. It's the same process. It's just when you go to publish the workflow, you actually what you select. So if you go to data sources, you've selected your data source here. Then you go back to configuration, you've selected your option label and your option value. That's pretty much it. You're ready to go. So once you've got your form designed, you select anyone with the URL, and then you publish your workflow. Once we publish, it'll give you the form URL and also the snippet. Now there's something to keep in mind. The copy of the URL will work fine. So if we go to anonymous without using credentials, we'll paste that in. This has got about 1,000 records in SharePoint, so there we go there. So got all our items coming back through there. Now there is one gotcha. Now if you come back to here, this snippet is good for contact us things on your public website. However, this snippet will not work with data sources. So if I paste this same snippet, oops, let's get rid of that. Paste this same snippet with the data lookup control, we'll let that load. The data lookup control won't work inside an iframe at the moment. Now, for various reasons I won't go into, but this is what happens when you use a data lookup control inside an iframe. So if you want to use a anonymous form with the data lookup control, it has to be full page. If you're doing anonymous inside an iframe, this is what you will get. So just keep in mind that when you go to use this, use the full URL, the snippet won't work. So I hope that's helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. Cheers.